Healing at Home project right here in Tamaqua. This marks a significant milestone not only for SARCC, but for the entire community as we address the critical need for safe and affordable housing for survivors of sexual violence. As the first standalone sexual assault program in Pennsylvania to offer supported housing, SARCC is making a significant impact right here in the Tamaqua community. This restorative service complements their existing resources, which include a 24-hour hotline, advocacy, trauma therapy, and prevention education. By introducing the Healing at Home project, SARCC is enhancing its mission to prevent sexual violence and promote healing within our community. SARCC has been a lifeline for those affected by sexual violence since 1983, expanding its services to Schuylkill County in 2009. The Healing at Home project aligns with SARCC's mission to prevent sexual violence and to promote healing. Since launching this project in 2024, SARCC has already provided nearly 1,000 nights of safe housing. This program highlights SARCC's unwavering commitment to supporting survivors of sexual violence. Their dedication to establishing the Healing at Home project is commendable as it aims to create a scattered site model for supported housing across Schuylkill and Lebanon counties. With plans to expand from one location in 2024 to the second in 2025, SARCC is addressing the urgent need for safe, stable housing. This initiative exemplifies their mission to tackle significant challenges in our community, made even more impactful through strong partnerships with local organizations. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce SARCC's President and CEO, Ali Parado. Ali.
Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm just a little bit taller. So I am so delighted and to celebrate during Sexual Assault Awareness Month this year a profound project that will make a difference in the history of sexual assault services all across Pennsylvania, and most especially in our local communities here at SARCC. In 2009, when we came into Schuylkill County to provide services, it's been 15 years of 24-hour access to support and resources for survivors. And many of the staff who are still with us today came over from the center who was here prior to that and have been doing this work in Schuylkill County for decades. Like every sexual assault program in Pennsylvania, SARCC provides 24-hour hotline support, advocacy, accompaniment, counseling and supportive services, information and referral, and prevention education. Because there is not a single person who works at or with SARCC who wants to keep seeing this violence occur in our communities. Last year, we served nearly 600 survivors, and that has been the case for many years. People who are adults, who are children, from all neighborhoods, all walks of life, all ages, all genders. And having these services available in our community makes a significant difference for the survivors that we serve. This work would not be possible without the incredible staff and volunteers that we have at our organization, many of whom are here today, and I want to take a moment to thank them for 15 years plus of providing these services and support. It wouldn't be possible without them. Stephanie Barron, Alicia Rakowski, Rachel Mercury, she's mad at me because I made her hold a poster. Aaron Whitmer, who's our trauma therapist, and Larissa Geary, who is our prevention and outreach director at SARCC, and then we have an incredible core of on-call advocates, volunteers, interns, and folks who have been doing this work for a long time. We also have a smart and dedicated board of director and community council. Many of them are here with us today. They help to guide our strategic work to end sexual violence, and this project is one part of the puzzle for making that happen in our community. I want to turn over
board for a long time with SARCC. When I first got on the board, I was also president of the Tamaqua Borough Council, and I used to make our Borough Council members and include them wear high heels for walk a mile in their shoes to raise awareness for sexual violence in our community. About the same time, about 2012, the Tamaqua Police Department and the Community Partnership started a safety initiative to intentionally try to reduce the risk of crime in Tamaqua. And we've been successful. We've been able to reduce the risk of crime by 42%. That's the relative risk too. So we're significantly lower than the county rate and significantly lower than the national rate for crime risk. We did that by partnering with organizations like SARCC, with the Green Dot program, and also we do that with bystander training, but also with establishing locations that are green dots on our Tamaqua map, including the Tamaqua City Arts Center, including Hope and Coffee, the St. Luke's facilities that you see across the street as well. And we were very, very proud of that reduction. I know working with now Chief Hobbs, who's been with us all through that whole endeavor. But one thing that we continue to notice, both anecdotally, I mean, seriously, every time I pick up the Times News newspaper, I read about sexual violence in our community. Not just anecdotally, but then being on the board at SARCC and seeing what's happening in our courthouses, in our schools, in our churches, in our neighborhoods. The prevalence of sexual violence is absolutely stunning. And there's not a lot of people talking about it. And SARCC is one of the organizations that has been talking and talking loudly. And so we're really proud to be part of this organization for that reason. So about 3 years ago, we partnered with the Community Partnership, partnered with SARCC and the Police Department again for a Rural Violent Crime Reduction Initiative to specifically focus on sexual violence in the Tamaqua community. And we started tracking data specifically on our community, and then we endeavored on a 2-year training program to train, co-train with both the SARCC counselors who do an absolutely amazing job. And if you ever think you have a tough job, they have a difficult job. They deal with some of the most heartbreaking cases that you can imagine. And we started to do some co-training with our police, making sure that every police officer got trained on how to not only address sexual violence once it occurs, but also how to prevent it. And when I say it's prevalent in our community, we were at a training at the Arts Center on a Wednesday, and one of our police officers was arrested on a Friday. It's a great shame to our community, but I think that tells you that this is everywhere. And Allie, for doing that for 2 years, our goal is to invest in our people because our police officers stay with us for a long time, our counselors stay with us for a long time, and so to give them the tools to not only address sexual violence when it occurs, but also to prevent it, and then also to work together so that every time there's a child instance of sexual violence in our community, the child line gets called every time. And so we've done that, and now we've been tracking some data. The community that you live in, Schuylkill County, I don't know if your community tracks the data, but I can tell you that the Tamaqua Police Department gets about 3 calls for sexual violence every month. Every month. So that's 3 times 12. That's how many in a year. And the studies are very clear that people are very resistant and hesitant to report sexual violence. So we know the instances are even greater. Also, I know SARCC, they receive calls for services from the 18252 zip code, which is more than just the borough of Tamaqua, from the zip code 9 times a month. Multiply that by 12. Okay, it is really prevalent in this community, and again, those numbers are typically they're always lower than the estimate. We've been tracking what are the primary sexual assault types in the Tamaqua community. The number 1 type is sexual violence against children. And I think that a lot of that reason is because of the mandated reporting. Right? I look around and I see some mandated reporting. So it's not that sexual violence isn't happening to adults. It's just that people are actually required to report it when as a child. So I encourage you to report it. If you see something, definitely report it. Either for the police. If you don't feel comfortable with the police, you can call the hotline 24 hours a day and get services for the survivors of that. So I'm really proud of SARCC. We have a Super Strong series coming up. where the chief and I are going to be talking about that Rural Violent Crime Reduction Initiative. We talk about some heavy issues with the Schuylkill Strong initiative. I want to thank the sponsors who helped make that happen, and Ali for being brave, and the board for being brave in presenting those. I also want to thank the board of SARCC for moving ahead with this housing initiative. The need for housing when you're a survivor of sexual violence is real, and this is a really good way to provide that housing in a way in any community where you're surrounded by local shopping and the arts center and the library and a vibrant downtown and primary care and specialty care and pediatrics that you could walk to at St. Luke's. So this is a good place for this Healing at Home program, Ali. And I do want to thank our board members who are here from the community partnership: Christine Lanier, Mike McGinley, Ray Kimball, Steve Donovan, and many of the community partnership board members. Because when I go to the board and I say, oh, and Daphne, we have Daphne as well. Thank you for being here. When I go to my board and I say, I have an idea, they always say yes. So thank you for that. And our county commissioners, Gary and Boots and Mary, thank you for being here, which is really important. And now I'd really like to introduce Michaela Gavelitz, who's our vice chair of our SARCC board, who has been a big advocate for SARCC and for preventing sexual assault and sexual violence in our community and in helping people here. So, Michaela.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you all. My first time here, I'm impressed. I really like this block. It's really developed into something. So, I am the president of Youth Empowerment Support LGBTQ Schuylkill and founder and executive producer of Schuylkill Pride Fest. I've been associated with SARCC for roughly 5 years. SARCC was my first partner in Pride. And it seems like that kind of a marriage comes together well, as I'm a survivor, and I've started this organization for those who perhaps don't have a voice, that need leadership, who need guidance and hope about things. So I'm privileged to serve as the executive vice chair with Ali and all these great people that are making this happen. It's a resource that's certainly been lacking for a long time. And, sexual violence impacts our entire community. The people who perpetuate cause harm in every neighborhood, school district, and business in Schuylkill County. Most crimes of sexual violence take place in someone's home. Homelessness is the risk for more violence, sexual assault, and increases in homelessness. Both Schuylkill County and Lebanon County residents and survivors face housing barriers related to poverty, economic decline, lack of housing, lack of access to mental health, and barriers to social services. The Healing at Home project offers permanent supportive housing solutions through subsidized rental assistance and case management services for sexual violence and human trafficking survivors, as well as the population at high risk violence. This includes victims of violent crime, people with disabilities, LGBTQ plus population, transition age youth, and individuals in recovery. Using a graduated income-based support housing structure for community members at high risk for violence, will establish a safe home base from which survivors can rebuild their lives during the time their lives included Healing at Home project. Will offer case management support and access to victim advocacy support services, and we will help to facilitate a referral for no-cost trauma therapy if desired. Since launching our first housing site in 2024, SARCC provided 1,128 nights of safe housing here in Schuylkill County. This work was made possible to the support and the partnership of the Tamaqua Area Community Partnership, Weldman Law Group, Town and Country Real Estate, and the Prismian Group, who sponsored our event for Sexual Assault Awareness Night, including today's ribbon cutting ceremony. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, our supporters, staff, and volunteers who made this outstanding opportunity for housing, safety, and healing possible. Thank you for all your hard work.
So there's a few members of our response team who graciously agreed to hold signs for me here today. And it was through that human trafficking response work that we were able to build the partnership with Schuylkill Mental Health to be able to provide this housing and to do it so quickly. When a need was expressed, they made it possible for us to do that. We want to dedicate the 2 properties that we have here in Tamaqua today to some values that we hold dear in our. Our first house, which we purchased with the help of Town and Country Real Estate, and Mike, who's back there, thank you, Mike. We're dedicating to our prevention value, and we're calling this house Clarissa's house. So we told her last week because she wouldn't come here because she's doing a program in Pine Grove today. So that if that says anything about Clarissa and who she is as a helper and a support person in our community, she is tireless. She is the Energizer Bunny for sexual abuse prevention. And every child in Schuylkill County knows Miss Clarissa, knows her programs, and knows that she is a safe adult that they can talk to if they need help. And we see that flood of children who disclose violence after Clarissa comes to provide programs in classrooms. She saw over 13,000 students last year in Schuylkill County for these prevention programs through the partnership and support of the United Way, and we thank them for being here too. So naming our prevention house after Clarissa gives us an opportunity first to acknowledge her 20 years of work doing this with students in Schuylkill County. Recognizing that prevention is the starting point for making sure that we don't need to do this work any longer, and recognizing that every person has a right to be safe from this type of violence. And calling it Clarissa's house allows us to keep the anonymity and safety for those who are using it rather than listing information. Our second house. Dedicating to our advocacy value. This home was made possible through our partnership with the Tamaqua Area Community Partnership and our longtime board member and director of the partnership, Micah Gursky. We are naming our advocacy house on Micah's behalf. So he has some family members here to see that today. I told him this morning and he still showed up. Shows the dedication that Micah has to making sure that survivors have a right to use their voices to seek justice and healing. And systems should be safe and free of barriers for those who need them. And we're presenting Micah today with some flowers and a small plaque just acknowledging his contribution to the community. I am deeply grateful to Micah, to all of our partners, to everyone who donated and made this possible. Wouldn't be able to do this work without the support and connections in the community. By the end of this project, this is the first 2 houses of several. We want all our values named and accomplished. So we need help. If we're going to get to 5 houses in Schuylkill County, then we need the support, the donations, the skills, the expertise, the properties if you have them, anything that you have to give to this project, it's appreciated. But our goal is that we will have a compassion house, because at SARCC we care deeply for those who hurt and those who seek to understand the hurt. We want to have a house that embodies the unending kindness and empathy that is needed in our community if we're going to see sexual violence end. We also want to have a safety house, and our safety value guides us as we help people to find safe space for healing, whether that's at SARCC or at school or at the police station or at a business that you run. Everybody has a right to safety, and that's what we promote. Finally, we want a social transformation house, because the people who perpetrate violence do not discriminate. The social transformation house will help us make our systems, our neighborhoods, and our communities safer for all people. If you can donate, if you can support. The first thing Micah said after I told him we were naming a house on his behalf was, I hope you have a link set up so that people can give and give generously. And we do. So been this possible. And we thank the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce for allowing us to cut a ribbon at Open Coffee today on behalf of this work. Thank you.
So thank you, Allie. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Michaela, for those words and for the naming of those homes. Congratulations. We always bring a few people with us when we come to any community, and today's no different. So the chair of the board of the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce, as many of you know, is Representative State Representative Jamie Barton. He's not available today. He's hopefully doing his job, which I presume he is. And so we always have a backup plan, and the person I'm going to introduce has been a backup plan for a lot of years. She's a past chair of the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce, the immediate past chair. It's my pleasure to introduce, to say a few words, Cynthia Mensch, also Executive Director of Alvernia University Continental College Town. Cynthia.
Thank you, Bob. Well, SARCC, Allie, your crew, your team, your board of directors, we just want to congratulate you on this momentous vacation opportunity that you have today in Schuylkill County and how you keep growing SARCC. I know we have a table at Continental College Town, so we're trying to spread the word as well. This is something that needs to be abolished. And we just thank you from the bottom of our hearts as our community members for everything that you do for our community. On behalf of the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce and all of the community members and that we have in Schuylkill County, we thank you, and we're here to support you and help you in any way that we can. So congratulations, and we really appreciate the hard work that you are doing.
And now, on behalf of U.S. Senator John Fetterman, is his regional director, Sabrina McLaughlin-Walensky. Sabrina.
Good afternoon, everyone. So coincidentally, I just had my first meeting ever with Allie and her staff just last month. So I really wanted to come out and support them today. And I just can't say enough about how much I personally admire what they do, and I think we all do. Just thinking about the stories that they have to hear and how they have to accompany themselves in moments of pain that most of us cannot imagine. We can't do enough to honor them, and I know a lot of your staff have been doing this for over a decade now, which is a long time to be doing such emotionally grueling work. We know, a lot of us, that one of the biggest barriers to fleeing abuse of any kind, including sexual abuse, is housing insecurity and maybe having to leave your housing behind in order to seek safety. So, I mean, this is just crucial that you are entering into the housing space to provide a refuge for victims of sexual assault. I am happy to be here to support you. I'm so glad I came, and thank you all for everything that you do at SARCC and everything that everyone here will do to support SARCC.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. Next up, on behalf of our Congressman, Dan Muser, in the 9th Congressional District, it's my pleasure to introduce his District Coordinator, Evelyn Dottie. Evelyn.
Thank you, Bob. On behalf of Congressman Dan Muser, it's truly an honor to be here today to celebrate the launch of Healing at Home. Such an incredible program to be able to bring into Tamaqua. Congressman Muser understands how far affordable housing can go just for an individual, but when you consider all the help that you're able to provide for individuals who have been victims of sexual assault, I mean, it's just incredible the work that you have done and continue to do. And I hope today marks the beginning of a partnership between our office and your organization with whatever help that we can assist at the federal level. You can see by the show of people
here today, this work is genuinely having an impact. So thank you for everything you do. It's impacting folks here in Tamaqua, in Schuylkill County as a whole, Lebanon County, and the whole 9th Congressional District. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. Now representing our Pennsylvania State Senator, David Argyle, in the 29th Senatorial District, is his Chief of Staff, Christine Verdier. Christine?
Thank you, Mr. Sark and Ali, and as one of those original board members from 2009, to see the growth of the organization and so I'm grateful that you are here. And to see the partnership and really the growth of programs like this and working with the local police departments is really what our community is about. And sitting in the seat from the Senator's office, also as a board member of the Tamaqua Community Partnership, we truly believe those community partners are what make our communities better. And so thank you for taking this opportunity. And like I said, when we have an idea, running with it. Thank you.
And now representing State Representative Jamie Barton in the 124th Legislative District is his staff member, Amy Miklo. Amy?
Thank you, everyone. We would like to thank everyone at SARCC and just say that we're here to support you guys. So thank you all so much for everything that you do. We're here to support you guys. Thank you.
And now we're blessed today to have all three of our county commissioners here. So I'm going to call them up all together and then they can take turns. First speaking today will be Board Chair Commissioner Larry Fedora, followed by Commissioner Baron Boots Hetherington, followed by Commissioner Gary Hess. Gentlemen.
On behalf of myself and my fellow commissioners, to the victims of sexual violence is so important. I wish nobody was a victim of it, but to know we have a police department that can get help, hold, and be so important. And for what you do for all Schuylkill County, and right here in my hometown of Vermont, a little bit that way by the bakery. So to see this come to our community and how the partnership with Tamaqua Community Partnership, the good that they've done for our community here in Tamaqua, and partnering with groups like yours to offer more help to people, it just really means a lot to the commissioners. It helps us take a burden off of the commissioners, off of the county, when groups like this do these projects. So we just really appreciate everything you do, and staff, and everything that Mike is doing with it here in Tamaqua and everywhere else. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, we really appreciate everything.
Thanks, Larry. Pretty much duplicate what Larry said. This shouldn't happen, but it does. And Ali, I want to say to you, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for taking some of the stress off the victims that should not be in this situation whatsoever. So once again, congratulations.
First of all, just like my colleagues have said, thank you very much for being a very, very good partner here in Schuylkill County. Over the years, you have definitely reached out to people that were in need of help, in need of healing. This project opens the door even more of places to go. As you know, housing is a big issue, but housing lives where somebody needs to be safe, and you provide that. What an outstanding job. And also to the Tamaqua Area Partnership. I've said before, I think even on the other street where the tree is, that Tamaqua is the front runner in this county of what they do. They see issues, problems, and they go help to solve them. And the way they solve them is by all these people of coming together and work together.
And last but not least in our lineup today is the president of the Tamaqua Area Chamber of Commerce. It's my pleasure to introduce Kim Knoll. Kim.
Hello, everybody. I wrote a half-hour speech, but it's a little full today. So. I was hoping to put my winter coat away by now. But it is really an honor to be here today representing the Tamaqua Area Chamber of Commerce. We are really grateful for all of our relationships we have with the businesses, the organizations, and the people here today. And I was listening to Micah talk about the number of calls that we get in the 18252 area code is 9 a month, which comes to about 2 a week, which is way too many in my opinion. But on the other hand, we know it's underreported. So I want to see more reports of it, but I want to see the number go down to 0, like as you guys talk about with SARCC. So it's such an honor to have you in our community. I had the opportunity to hear you present about what was going on in Tamaqua very early on, and we're really grateful that you are here, and whatever the Tamaqua Chamber can do to help support that, we are happy to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kim. As we celebrate the launch of Healing at Home project, it's important to recognize how our collective efforts strengthen our community and support those who need it most. SARCC's commitment to providing safe housing and comprehensive resources is crucial in helping survivors reclaim their lives and foster healing. We appreciate everyone who was able to come out today to support SARCC and their mission. And I think I'd be remiss if I did not tell you, as the president of the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce, when an unfortunate situation arose a number of years ago where our board of directors needed to step forward to address a significant and well-known sexual abuse situation here in Schuylkill County, our board rose to the occasion and did what they had to do. And that leadership by the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce and our board of directors did not go unnoticed. And I need to tell you, that's when the tough have to get going, and our board showed the leadership necessary to do what we had to do at that point in time to get the job done. And while they took a lot of criticism initially, I think what they did has been proven to be absolutely the correct and the right thing to do. So it's unfortunate when you have to step forward like that, but that's really what this is all about, to not suppress, but rather to come forward and support victims who need our support. So at this time, we'll cut the ribbon, and those who spoke, we invite you to get in the picture, and we'll go from there. But congratulations on a great day and another advancement for sexual abuse and sexual violence. Thank you.
Everybody got their pictures?
Yeah, they're right
Okay.
here. Okay.